Hi guys, welcome back to this place, and if you are new, then welcome here for the very first time. I am Carmen, and today we are finally watching more Hill House. This is season 1, episode 3. I am excited and nervous because last episode was very emotional for me. And I'm really getting attached to the characters and their story and their family and all of the interesting dynamics that are going on in this family. And like I said, I think in the intro to last episode, kind of thought that this was a horror show, right? In like the strictest, most stereotypical sense of horror. I thought it was going to be scary and bloody and gory, and that there wasn't going to be a lot of meat on the bones, I guess. And I was very wrong, and I am very happy how wrong I was, because I love a good drama. I love a good family drama. I am a very emotional person, so things hit me a lot. And I love that. I love to get into the nitty gritty of families and people and relationships and life in general. So, all of that rambling being said, where did we leave off? We left off the lasting image, which was also the last image we saw in the last episode, was the model forever house. The porch light blinking and signaling for them to come home. And that is freaky and sad and very poignant, and it sticks with you. So I'm ready to get into it. I'm going to stop rambling at you guys. Let's see what happens in this episode and if I cry some more. Did that door open by itself? Okay, this looks like Theo. Okay, please be a sibling.
Not you, Nellie. I had another nightmare.
Is that Nellie? Please be Nellie. Please fucking be Nellie.
I'm really freaked out, huh?
I don't think that's Nellie.
You're squeezing too tight.
I don't, that's not Nellie.
Nellie?
There's nobody there?
Whose hand was I holding?
Yeah, that's a good freaking question, kid. No. Nope, it's back to scary again.
And that's the first night I saw him, Mr. Smiley, coming out from where he lives.
Mr. Smiley?
The stairs, the third step from the top. It makes a sound. That's how I knew he was coming. That's how I always know. Then he's in my room.
Is she a therapist?
Where does Mr. Smiley live, Kelsey?
The basement?
Under the house.
She's not wearing her gloves.
When I was little, I was afraid of a lot of things. I didn't have to be, though. They were all in my head. I just didn't know that yet.
That's not true.
I would imagine myself building a big wall all around me made of the strongest bricks in the whole world. I knew I'd be safe in there forever. It's kids like us who've been through more than other kids. We're tougher than other kids. We make ourselves really safe, and no one ever gets in.
Well,
Mr. Smiley does.
that's a metaphor. Mr. Smiley does look very creepy.
I guess it was just a weird dream.
Trash.
Hang on. This is fancy.
49 Claude Riel.
She can like sense things through her hands.
How did you know that?
Oh.
She's like a kind of a psychic in a way, maybe?
Do you feel cold right there?
Yep.
I told you. It's a very small spot, just right here, like you're standing in front of an open refrigerator. What about there?
Yep. Here too.
You sure? I don't feel it here.
This whole house is cold.
I think that she has some kind of psychic thing, and maybe her mom had like a little bit of it but not as much as she does. Stephen's book about Hill House.
Well, you were right.
6 years ago.
I'm offering to share the book. I'll give each of you 8% of any royalties.
It's all about the money for you, Steve. We're well aware.
Of course it's about the money.
I mean, you guys have read it, right?
I haven't. I've heard the various versions my whole life. Dad's tabloid horror show. I've heard Luke and Nellie's ghost stories. No offense, Nellie.
Okay.
I've heard you and Steven do your best James Randi impression, where you say how crazy everybody was.
I wonder if she ever read it.
We're not taking your money. None of us. It's blood money, Steve.
Yep. Blood money.
Right.
What did Theo say?
I need to clean the kitchen.
You don't have to be so mean about it.
She's not mean.
She's scared.
She's scared.
What makes you say that?
She feels it. How does she do that though? And how does she not believe when she knows that she can like know things that she doesn't know? You know?
One ride. I know it works. Please, Theo.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
I won't tell.
You hop straight out and you don't tell anyone I did this for you.
I think this is a bad idea.
Going up. Hey! Up! Theo! Luke! Theo!
Now try it. Oh, I don't like this.
Bring me up, please.
What was that?
There's something down here. Just hang on, I'm trying. Theo!
Is that a person? Oh! Oh my god!
Luke?
Jesus!
Hang on. It's okay.
Let's see.
Sorry, Grammy. Monster! There's a monster!
What the hell were you thinking?
Okay.
Is he okay?
Go to your room. Come here.
It's not. You shouldn't. She's a kid too. You shouldn't make her feel responsible for that. That's not great parenting, you know. I mean, she shouldn't have done it, but I'm just saying. Okay, she's moving her leg. I was like, there's some fucking movement on your bed. Oh fuck! Is that not her legs? What the fuck was that?
It's
Nellie.
no.
Oh god, oh god.
Did you find it?
No, she's not out front.
And I'm still missing 2 groomsmen.
Something could be happening here. I think it's what I think. I think what I think is happening is happening.
Stacy! Just a sec.
That's the thing about weddings.
Okay. It's gotta be Henry.
Oh, my money's on Matt.
Hey.
I wonder if they didn't know.
What?
Nothing.
I mean,
I mean, we didn't
They didn't know.
know you were into.
Bridesmaids?
I'm glad they seem to be taking
I
it well.
love you.
Good. Whew, that makes me happy. I was scared for a second.
Why the hell would she go to that house? My kids are gonna ask me how she died.
And you'll tell them.
Tell them what? Aunt Nellie killed herself?
Yes, that's better than lying. Just saying nothing like Dad did. Better they ask you than me. Because I'm fucking angry. Because I don't want to have to tell them that I'm fucking pissed at Auntie Nell, who should have known better. Better than most. What this does to a family. She fucking knew better.
I don't think she did it. I don't think she did. But also, like, somebody in that state, like, you can't figure out why they do what they do, you know? It's...
They said Abigail's not real.
Her name's Abigail?
Now they said the basement's not real. And whatever was down there, they definitely don't believe me. Nobody ever believes me.
She believes you.
I believe you. Maybe we can prove it to them.
I don't think you want to go down there. I'm just gonna say. Maybe just tell your parents, you know? Be like, hey, Mom, Dad, look, proof. And then don't do this.
We're so scared.
Don't open it. You know, I think it's fine if you just leave that closed, go back up, leave this house, never go back. Right now. The third one squeaks. Touch the couch. There's the little whoosh sound. That means that she's feeling something. What is it? No. Please. No. What's happening? Okay, unfortunately, I think I know exactly what's happening, and I'm very disturbed by it. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I don't even want to say it, because...
You all done?
Yep. I'll dive back in with her this week.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
What are you
She knows.
looking at?
Mr. Smiley.
And social services, too. You just have to trust me on this. I haven't been wrong before, have I? Just get them here.
Before she gets home from school. So she doesn't have to go through that anymore. What?
Honey?
What? What was that? Is she psychic? I'm confused.
You know those headaches I get sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
They started when I was a little girl. And when I get them, I see all sorts of...
She has some sort of ability too, right?
Your grandmother was like that too.
That's how she felt the cold spot.
Sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
I've wondered if you and your sisters might be a little sensitive. Shirley says some things sometimes when she's sleeping that are...
Nella's in the red room.
And I asked Nellie what she thought about the house when we moved in. She said it was loud.
There's lots of spirits there.
Noticed you always wear sweaters inside, even though it's summer.
It's cold.
Because it's always cold.
She feels them.
These will help with the cold.
Gloves.
And the other thing.
Does Dad know?
Don't think so.
Kind of. We'll talk a lot more about it as you get older.
She did agree.
No hug?
You got a couple things wrong in there, by the way.
She read it.
You said it was Luke that found the old bootlegging basement.
It was her.
That was me.
Sorry about that.
You know, I was pretty impressed by what you wrote about that night.
What night?
That night.
I think that we all know what she means.
That was really wild stuff, considering that you were asleep for what? Like 99% of it?
She's mad.
So what are you gonna do with the money? Car, purses, travel?
She's gonna become a psychologist.
I'm gonna get my fucking PhD.
I want to see that night from her perspective. I mean, I don't know that I want to, but I also want to. Girl, don't do this. She's gonna touch her, isn't she? Theo. You don't have to do this.
Jesus, what?
You don't have to do this. She wants to know why. Theo, don't do it. Don't do it. That's why I didn't want her to do it.
I'm fine.
You sure? You look,
Not fine?
Shirley found your checkbook.
You're not gonna tell her, are you? It's just as bad for you as it is for me.
Of course not. Might want to come up with an excuse, though.
He took the money.
Make up a mistress, something. Secret family.
Well, hang on.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just we barely said 2 words to each other.
Yeah.
Can we take a second and talk?
That's not what she wants. She's real drunk too. This is a bad idea.
I'm thrilled you called me. I just feel kind of weird about how I left the other night. And then last night at the club, you completely ignored me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Is that what you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. What do people usually talk about? How was your day? Stuff like that.
Well, let's see. My day. She built up so many emotional walls. I touched her hand and I didn't even... She just needed help and no one was listening.
You listened. You figured it out. You helped.
And it's so much like Nellie. Should we talk about your day or would you rather come to bed?
Girl, she's having a real tough time right now. Oh, fuck, it's that night.
I need you to get Luke and Nell to the car. You get in, lock the doors. Don't unlock them until you see me come outside. Do you understand?
What's happening?
Get them to the car. Come on.
Stop! Let go! Let go of me! Let go! Don't touch me!
Hold, okay. Ooh, I did a second, you guys. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna scrub through for a second. I want to see what she saw. Is that Nellie? Why does that look like Nellie? Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure stuff out. Hold on. Oh fuck. Okay, that's the little girl, Abigail, that Luke saw. And then he pushed the mom into the wall, right? Okay, okay. I need a second, hold on. Okay, you guys. Okay, so I have taken a moment or a few and tried to compose myself because I think that episode was a lot. I don't know that I fully composed myself, but yeah, it was very emotional once again. It had some scary moments once again, but the true heart and soul and gem of this show, like you guys have been telling me in the comments, and like I can very clearly see just watching these 3 episodes so far, is the family dynamic, the relationship dynamic, the characters and who they are. That I think is what is making this show so incredible for me to watch. Every episode so far has just gotten better and better. I really loved this episode. I think that the actress who plays Theo as an adult is incredible. I think the little kid actress who plays Theo is incredible. And I just have such compassion for her, and she makes me fully feel how that character is feeling in each of these moments. And I don't know, she's doing a freaking incredible job. It's brilliant. That's kind of all I can really say, is it's brilliant. There's a lot to sort of unpack from that episode, like so much. I love that Theo became who she needed when she was a kid, you know? She became a psychologist. She's using her gift and her abilities, her sensitivity, her brain, her trauma, all of it to help other people, in particular kids, not have the same kind of trauma, or at least have less of it, you know? And I just think that's amazing that she's using what she has to help other people. I don't know. I think she's a great character. I think she's probably my favorite character that I've seen so far. So yeah, this was obviously a Theo-centric episode. The first episode was Steve. The second was Shirley. This episode was Theo. If we're going in order of oldest to youngest, then I assume Luke is going to be next, and then Nellie, because I think she was younger than Luke. Maybe they're the same age. I don't know, but it also would make sense for Nellie to be last, because they're showing us everybody finding out about what happened to her, and then it would make sense for the last one to be what happened to her through her perspective. Although, actually, I don't know, maybe they'll have her dad as well. I'm very curious as to what happened to their mom. I'm trying to figure out where I want to start, because there's literally so much to unpack in this episode. I don't think I'm going to be able to talk about all of it during the post episode. You guys probably wouldn't want me to, because I would have to go like scene by scene and really deep dive. But this is a reaction, and this is my immediate, thoughts afterwards. This isn't a deep dive, introspective into the show. But I think that it's really interesting to see everything that happened through Theo's eyes. I think that her character is beautifully written, beautifully acted, and okay, so Theo, we discover in this episode, and it's been so long since I watched this show, you guys, because circumstances outside of well, not outside of my control, but circumstances sort of made me take a little bit of a break. And so now I'm back, and I wondered about the glove thing in the last episode, but I can't remember if I suspected or speculated that it had anything to do with her being able to touch things and sense things from it. I can't remember. But I think that it's really cool the way that they do it in the show, that she touches something and you hear there's it's not a visual signal, but it's a auditory signal that she's picking something up, right? Because she touches it and then it goes, there's like this little sound, and then she sees, feels, experiences something in some way. And I just think that that's a really cool detail that they added onto it. In particular, in the basement of the little girl's house, when she's touching and feeling everything, and you don't hear that. And then she touches the couch and you hear it. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to talk about that section without talking too much about it, because we saw it. I think that I'm not a psychologist. I have not studied psychology. I don't know that many things except for what I've learned just through osmosis or whatever throughout my life, but I do know that often children who have gone through traumatic things like that little girl do put a different face on it. They do cope in different ways. They make it a monster. They make it something unhuman because it should be something inhuman. You know, like no human should do something like that. It's so horrific and so upsetting. And like, I know it's a show, but it's upsetting to me to think about. But I like that Theo helped her, saved her. I liked the moment of later when she's talking to Trish, I think is her name, and they're in the bedroom and she tells her about her day, and she says that the little girl had built so many emotional walls because presumably her life prior to living with those people was not great either. And she's just built this sort of fortress around herself so that she couldn't even feel her, right? She was kind of immune. Like, and in the appointment, she said it reminded her of herself. And then she told Trish that it reminded her of Nellie. And I wonder if it stems from the belief that nobody will believe you, that Nellie learned as a child that when you tell the truth and people don't like it and it doesn't make sense to them, that they dismiss it and disregard it. I'm so curious as to what happened to Nellie in Hill House, and I'm assuming we're gonna find out. But this episode, we learned some of the things that happened to Theo. There was the moment of some child cuddling her, some ghost child. There was her just realizing that she could sense and feel these things. There was whatever else happened on the last night that they were there. Let's talk about that for a second, actually, so we can pivot away from the most disgusting human that we've met so far on the show. Talking about Mr. Smiley. Anyway, at the end, and I'll try to put up like a little thing here. We saw when her dad grabbed her arm, Theo saw things, and one of the things that she saw was what appeared to me to be Nellie. And we also know that when she touched her mom in that one moment, she saw like there was something wrong with her head, and she looked like she was wearing a nightgown, which I think is what she was wearing in the thing that we saw from Steve's perspective, or if that was her. There was somebody chasing him, and then there was somebody in the window, and I just wonder if Theo's ability is it's some kind of psychic thing, right? I wonder if she can see the future, and if her seeing Nellie in that moment when they were leaving Hill House was the future. If that's Nellie. Again, I could be completely wrong in seeing that. I just scrubbed through really quick, and that's who it looked like to me, but I don't know. We also saw her see, I'm assuming, Abigail, because we saw her, Luke waved to that little girl, and this looked like the same little girl wearing the blue dress, the short blonde hair. I want them to do research and see if Abigail Hill was a child that lived there. But like Luke said, people don't believe him. But we saw her, and she was in what looked like the basement, and there was a person who had been there for a long time, right? They were decomposing. They had been decomposing for a long time. They looked mummified, which is interesting because that's also what it looked like Luke saw in the basement. Now, I don't think Abigail was in the basement because I think she was sitting on a spiral staircase, if I'm remembering correctly, from the flash that Theo saw. So that could be in the red room. And then we also saw the last thing that she saw was that the dad pushed the mom into the wall. So that's interesting. I'm also curious as to if that was the only conversation. Sorry, I'm switching to a different part of the episode. But if that was the only conversation that Theo had with her mom regarding being sensitive and feeling things. Because it seems to me like the mom is saying that some sort of abilities run in her family, and she has it to some degree. The cold spot, which, you know, if you watch supernatural like things, usually signifies like a ghost or a spirit. And Theo feels like the whole house is cold, which signifies a lot of ghosts and spirits. But her mom could only sense it in one spot, and she has like headaches, or she used to have headaches, and she had one recently, but we don't really know because she didn't specify what she saw. But it's interesting that there's some sort of psychic witchcraft, I don't really know, ability that runs through her family though, because Shirley does, like she said, Shirley says things when she's asleep, and she does. When she woke up before she found out that Nellie was dead, she said Nellie's in the red room, and I think she was. So it could explain also why these spirits are seeking out Nellie, if she also has that, why they sought out Luke and Theo. Something else that I really liked was the way that they handled Theo's coming out in this. They didn't make it this big deal. They didn't, make it inordinately important or significant. It was this moment. Her siblings were like, oh, we didn't know that. And then they hugged and they moved on, like should happen in real life, So I really appreciated that on the show, because I think that is how it should be in real life. And unfortunately for a lot of people, that's not how it is. But I like that at least that doesn't have to be a part of their family drama, like I hope that we don't have to deal with any homophobia. Like, we didn't see Luke or Shirley's reaction, but obviously Shirley's fine with it because we've seen her and Trish before, and I imagine Luke is as well. So don't know about the dad again, but I'm hopeful that that was kind of the moment, and then like we don't have to like harp on it and like obsess over it. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's a part of her character. It's not the most important or the most interesting part. It's just, who she is. I'm almost done rambling at you guys, but something else that I wanted to mention was the moment where Theo said she knew better. Like, she should have known not to do it because she, of all people, would know what it would do to a family. And it was just a heartbreaking moment, but also it was beautifully done, because when something like that happens, people, you want to know why. You want answers. You want to be able to say, why would you do this, And anger is a very common initial response, because anger is one of the most difficult emotions to regulate. Anger is always a secondary emotion, but it's also, like I said, a very easy emotion to tap into because it is the most difficult of our emotions to regulate. So the anger that she felt, which was covering up the grief and the pain and all of that stuff, makes a lot of sense. And her questioning of like, why would she do this, and being angry about it makes total sense. And I just appreciated the real to lifeness of it. I think that and of course she knows this because she's a psychologist, but it's never that easy. It's never that cut and dry. You can't figure out when, oh gosh, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but I'm not articulating it very well. But you'll never find a reason that will be good enough. And honestly, it's very complicated. So I'm not going to try to oversimplify it by explaining it in a very simplified way. But you're never going to find an answer that is going to make you accept that that's a thing that happened. So yeah. And also, I'm not convinced that that's what happened. So, you know, it is what it is. But I think that it's important that they're bringing up a lot of really important subject matter in this show and in this episode in particular. And I think that they're handling it very well, which is something I like to see. Oh, wait, sorry. Before I finish, there's another thing I want to talk about. Theo and Trish, which honestly, I kind of ship. But I think that it's a very interesting relationship because for so long, Theo has, like she was telling the little girl, built up these emotional walls. And I think partially because she has always been able to feel so much, too much. And I think that that can be a lot for a person to deal with. And so it's easier to shut off those kinds of emotions and try not to deal with it than to deal with it. But she is in this moment, in this time of despair in her life where she's very upset about Nellie and her family and just everything that's happening. And she is calling Trish. She's reaching out. She's trying to form that connection with another person, even if just for a moment, to get over and distract herself from the pain and all the stuff that she's feeling, because she didn't want to talk to Trish, right? She wanted to get lost in feeling good and having fun and kind of take this momentary reprieve from the horrific grief that she's feeling and whatever it was that she felt when she touched Nellie. And I just find it interesting, and I would love to see it blossom into a full-blown relationship where she can talk and she can have that emotional outlet and she can have that other person that she can find that emotional release with. That doesn't have to be through physical release, you know? To go off of that for just a second, when she was talking to the little girl in the beginning and she said you make a wall and nobody ever gets in, I think it's really important, and it's a character moment because you can make a wall and nobody ever gets in to hurt you, but then also no happiness ever gets in to bring you joy, you know? If you shut out emotions, like bad emotions, you have to also shut out good emotions. So I hope that Theo is sort of figuring that out, you know? There's probably a lot of other things that I could say, but I think I'm gonna leave it there because I have been rambling at you guys for far too long. Thank you so much if you somehow made it to the end. Leave like a little heart emoji or something in the comments so I know that for some reason, whatever reason, you're still here. As always, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you so much for still watching this. I am trying to get it out much faster now for you guys and also for me because I really just want to keep watching it. Is there anything else? If you want, you can watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode right now over on Patreon, which is linked in the description below. There is no early access for Hill House, so it's just coming out when it comes out. Hopefully I can get it edited and the next few episodes will be coming out in quick succession. Yeah. I might watch the next one right now. I don't know. We'll see. Until next time. Bye, guys. Let's see how many times I can cry in this show, because I have a feeling it's going to be every freaking episode from now on.